Nobody has turned on their video?
Yes, sir, we will turn on, sir.
Yeah, okay, we will have that.
Okay.
Sir, it's live, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Preetika.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone who have gathered here for the webinar on Crime-Free Bharat and how students can contribute towards achieving this goal, conducted by the Department of Information Technology and the Computer Society of India, Student Chapter SVCE. I am S. Preetika, the Joint Treasurer of CSI. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our esteemed Chief Guest, Mr. Maithili Sharan Gupta, Director General of Police, Police Reforms, Madhya Pradesh. Maithili Gupta sir has a history of working in law enforcement. He is currently working on different projects like automated investigation system which uses 21 different technologies and app development for the safety of railway passengers throughout the country. Thank you sir for spending your valuable time for us, and it is an honor to have you here on this webinar today. I would further like to welcome Dr. V. Vidya, CSI, Student Branch Counselor and Head of Department IT, Dr. T. Sukumar, Assistant Head of Department IT, Mr. Ranjit, Assistant Professor IT, Mr. Guru Gokul, Assistant Professor IT, and Ms. Leela Rani, Assistant Professor IT. I also welcome the members of Team Tesseract from Smart India Hackathon Grand Finale, Rahul R.K., Shantakumar, Vaikunth, Sairam Nath, Taufik, and Navya Reddy. Now, I request Dr. V. Vidya ma'am to share a few words.
Thank you. Shubhika. So good evening to all of you. So as the Student Branch Counselor of Computer Society of India, I am extremely honored and privileged to welcome our most distinguished Chief Guest, Mr. Maithili Sharan Gupta, Director General of Police, Police Reforms, Madhya Pradesh. Gupta sir, so behalf of our SPCE family and our Computer Society of India, I welcome you sir. Thank you so much for your kind acceptance. And through Rahul and Sukumar, I came to know our project, well appreciated by you and motivated a lot. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. And our SVC is very happy to sign a MOU with Madhya Pradesh Police Department, sir. And one small introduction I want to give. Actually, our students keep on giving support for our Tamil Nadu police government also. And recently, I think you may well know the Ativaradar function at Kanjipuram. So even that program, and our students gave full support for the controlling of people. And also they have developed many apps for controlling the e-beta things and all. So definitely I hope our students will give full support and coordination to you. So you can have the support from SPCE also, sir. Thank you so much. Once again, I welcome you for this wonderful webinar. Thank you, sir.
Over to Sukumar, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Welcome you all for this online webinar. It's my great privilege to introduce Mr. Maithili Sharan Gupta, sir, Director General of Police. He has completed BE in Mechanical Engineering and he has completed Masters in Industrial Engineering from IIT Delhi. He then pursued an MBA with specialization in Finance, Marketing, HRM and a Masters in Public Policy and Sustainable Development. He has also done a PG Diploma in Disaster Management. Mr. Gupta sir also worked as SRP Jabalpur and SP in Bhopal. He has worked as DIG Balkat Range and he has worked as IGP Operations Kashmir, CRPF and IGP Special Task Force. He has also worked as ADGP in Administration and Railways. He has worked as DGP in Railway Home Guards, Civil Defense and Disaster Management. He is currently working on various projects making India a better place, such as automated investigation support system for crime-free India, state disaster response and monitoring system and so on. He has won many awards and medals including MP Government E Award. So it is a great privilege to introduce sir. Thank you sir. Thanks for your acceptance. Thank you.
So So, thank you very much for such an elaborate introduction. I hope I should do justice with your expectation. One thing we have to understand that we are not going to get crime-free Bharat through routine channel. Today it happened to be Foundation Day of Indian Police Foundation, which is chaired by Sri Prakash Singh ji, ex-DGP BSF and ex-DGP UP. And today there was an elaborate talk. Right Justice of Supreme Court, Honorable Madan, he deposed in a greater details that what kind of the malaise we are facing, what kind of problems we are facing. So whether we are going to have a crime-free Bharat, it is not going to come the way we are thinking or the way the Supreme Court has given the direction. By complying with even the 7 direction of the Supreme Court, it is not going to happen. So then how it will be happening? It will happen by your creation, by creation of each and every technocrat, by each and every individual and each and every citizen of the country. We have to reinvent our processes. There is not a problem on the side of law. There is a problem on the side of implementation. I am very sure very few of us, if I will ask a question, how many policemen are there in our country? Somebody would like to guess what about the figure? How many policemen are there in the country? A rough guess, rough guess. No, I'm talking of all.
About a million?
Say, in the whole country, how many policemen, as per your expectation, could be there?
$2 million, maybe. I don't know.
It is not even that. But how would you react if I will say there are 137 crore policemen? 137 crore policemen. I hope you are. I am talking of the population of the country. So I say each one of us are policemen, and I am not talking of sentimental. It's not a sentimental statement. It is not a sentimental statement. I am making this legal statement. So if we look at Section 39 and Section 40 of CRPC, it puts the responsibility on each and every citizen of the country that if somebody is planning about the crime, they are supposed to report about it. If somebody has committed the crime or preparing for a crime, they are supposed to report about it. If some cognizable offense is taking place in front of eye of anyone, any citizen, they are supposed to arrest culprit under Section 43 of CRPC. So, Section 43 of CRPC, it's allow or give the power to the citizen to arrest a criminal. Even each and every citizen is having the responsibility to help a police officer, and forget about the police officer. Even if the representative of the police officer asked for, or who is going for execution of the summons and warrant, and if he asks for any help, each citizen is legally bound to help him out. When somebody is committing any crime, it is the responsibility of the police and prosecution to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. So, beyond reasonable doubt, whereas in any violation under section 39 and 40 of the CRPC, the responsibility lies on the citizen. They have to prove their innocence. So burden of proving innocence lies on citizen. So whatever I have told you the legal position. I hope with this explanation, you must be agreeing that each one of us are policemen. The only difference, you are policeman in civil dress, and I am a policeman who is donning uniform and getting salary for this work. Mr. Sukumarji, do you agree with this observation? Dr. Vidya, do you agree with this
Yes, sir.
observation? Do you agree with this observation?
Yes, sir, I am accepting
Yeah.
that.
So one thing need to be really appreciated, that probably these finer things, they have not been conveyed to the normal public. And if normal public is really aware of the responsibility, probably they can play a very critical role. Now, onus of each and every citizen to report about cognizable offense. What about response of the police? The similar responsibility is not on SHU. He is not registering your offense. He is using his satisfaction doctrine, and public at large is at receiving end. So we have come out with a novel project, and we gave the name Crime Free Bharat. And it is promising 5 certainties. So, first certainty is certainty of reporting of FIR even without going to police station. So, a person need not to go police station and still his FIR would be registered. My friend, I would like to stress upon at this point that many states do claim that they are having the provision of e-FIR. Let me clarify, no state is having the provision of e-FIR, because FIR should have 4 ingredients. Those ingredients are: number 1, it should have the content of cognizable offense. Number 2, the section should be applied. Number 3, there should be signature of complainant. And number 4, there should be signature of SHO. Anything which is complying with these 4 attributes of FIR, then only it could be called a legally acceptable FIR. So the system which we have designed, and it has been designed in this Smart India Hackathon itself, and friends like Rahul and the other parties, I mean, they did a wonderful job, and they have come out with a very, very powerful system. And this system would be helping out to report your FIR so that you can discharge your obligation under section 39 and 40. And that too without going to Thana. So it means you can report making use of the web portal, making use of app, and the people, those who are not techno savvy, they can make use of IoT device and can requisition services of any nearby volunteer, and a nearby volunteer will come with an app, and with that app is having artificial intelligence and backup software which can interact with the complainant and will extract all ingredient of FIR. Then it will apply, and if there's some, say, narration is not covering some ingredient of law, it will put extra questions for the clarification, and it will make it show that right sections are applied. So this FIR would be very, very superior FIR, and everything would be on the digital record. That is, the audio record would be there, digital record would be there, animated record would be there. And there is one independent witness has been created, that is the volunteer whose app is being used. So app is also witness to the process of FIR. He is not recording FIR. FIR is being automatically recorded, but he is the witness to the process. Number two, he is witness to the position or physical condition of victim. Then he is witness to injury marks. He is witness to the scene of crime. So somebody posed me a question. India is having lot many variation in terms of the language and even the dialect that keep on changing every 10 to 15 kilometer. So how this will be handled? Even the policeman may not find himself proficient to understand dialect, and probably recording of FIR may be a sort of a challenge. So for that, there will be another language volunteers. So we can have volunteer who understand that dialect. So I'm not talking of the language, I am talking of the dialect. Even the dialect could be understood by a volunteer, and he can pitch in between the technology and complainant, and he will also stay on record. So this will be very, very powerful recording of FIR, and so there will be certainty of FIR. Now, how it will be happening? So by interaction, the ingredient of FIR has been extracted. Artificial intelligence is applying sections. So what are the sections under which the crime has been committed? That has been applied automatically. Now the third part, signature of complainant. So there is a provision of 4 types of signature. And the signatures are not uploaded, they are captured. So if you are using app, you can just sign on the top of your mobile phone, and the software or that AI will extract your signature and will lock it with the date, time and location stamp. It will be encrypted and it will be protected with the hash value and blockchain technology. Then app will ask you to take the photograph of victim or complainant. So that will also be logged with the date, time and location stamps and will be protected with the hash value and again protected with the blockchain technology. We gave the name photo signature. So this photo signature is also very important. Third is Aadhaar number based OTP verified digital signature. And on the top, there will be virtual ID based verification of signature. So there are 4 types of signature which the system is capturing, and it locking it with the date and time and location, and routing it through citizen portal on CCTNS. Now we are not forcing SHO to sign. So we are giving freedom to SHO. If he is having some reasons to disagree with the content of FIR, he has to record his reasons. And whatever the reason he would be recording, after his signature, there is a responsibility of the Superintendent of Police under section 154(3) of the CRPC. He is supposed to entertain if FIR is not registered by SHO. So this system is taking the whole content to the Superintendent of Police of the district and helping him to discharge this legal obligation. Now, imagine a situation that Superintendent of Police of the district is also having some issue. He is having some reservation in taking cognizance of that FIR. So the way SHO has done, the same way we can allow SP to put his reasons also. Because here, though at the one side we are very much interested that FIR should be recorded with the certainty or with a very enhanced probability, but at the same time, we are equally concerned that no fake FIR should be registered. So the moment the SO and SP both denies or after recording reasons, the system is taking back it to the complainant. And it is asking complainant, say, whatever you told me, there is no doubt it is a cognizable offense. But station house officer of a police station, he is having these reasons for not recording or not agreeing for your FIR. Then it is giving the details about the SP's reasons also. And then it is asking from the complainant, please let me know whether you have truly reported the content to me. At this point of the time, I would like to forewarn you that reporting the false case is punishable under section 211 and 182 of IPC. So if you have wrongly reported it, be sure I am going to prosecute you. He says, no, I have reported it rightly and there is no contradiction. So in that case, it will create one affidavit. It will be automatically will be created right on the app of the complainant, and he can put his digital signature. As per the legal system, there is a responsibility on the court under section 156(3) of the CRPC read with section 190. I am deliberately quoting rules and laws so that we are talking law. We are not talking sentiments. We are talking of law. We are talking of technology. So with all this affidavit, and even we can, if we wish, we can capture additional evidences also in favor of FIR, and that will be put up before the magistrate who is having the jurisdiction under section 156(3), and he will be facilitate to take the cognizance of FIR. And even if there is a failure on his part, the system will take it to the High Court. So complainant is not moving anywhere. He is sitting in his comfort. He has just disclosed the things. He has just reported the FIR, and the system is striving to make it sure that FIR is being registered. I will really stop at this point for a while, and I will request for your reaction. Since you come from the technological field, I have quoted law, I have quoted technology also. What is your reaction about this certainty? Anybody can ask question on this, or can give his reflections, or can give his views before we proceed to the next certainty, that is the certainty of detection.
Sir?
Yeah, please.
Recently, they also implemented AI technology in webcam. So, hello?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. Recently, they implemented the webcam CCTV camera processing technology using AI in like signals to detect who's wearing helmet and who's not, and they automatically send reports to these vehicle number plates automatically. But
Rahul, we will give you opportunity to explain about your project. Here the question we are talking of one certainty, because Crime-Free Bharat, it is offering bouquet of technologies, as you rightly said. You rightly said about the traffic part of it. You have said that violation of the traffic signals. You talked about the helmet. I think you would like to talk about even the number plate, or number plate is not proper, or even violation of some other traffic laws. So here we are not talking of those points. We are saying, how do you react about the certainty of registration of FIR without even visiting, or with the option of not visiting police station?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm trying to ask, sir. They send the reports automatically. So sometimes the detection might be wrong if we totally rely on AI, right, sir? So in these cases, how do they guarantee that the
Very good question. Rahul, very good question. I understood your point. What you want to say that somewhere technology may not be fully reliable. There may be false positive and false negative. And if that is the case, then how we need to resolve it? Is that your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, we have recently introduced integration of many experts. So the people, the information which has been extracted by the technology through your CCTV or maybe IoT device, or maybe captured by volunteers, and after doing that initial thing, we are having the option to involve expert in between if there is any confusion. So what I will say, if it is very clear, there is no doubt, then we can say straightway we can take it for the prosecution. Or if we feel that we are having some doubt, then it can be sent to the expert on the real-time basis, and we can create one expert app also for them, so that they can see, enlarge, they can superimpose and do many analysis, and then they can come out whether any violation has taken place and who has done that violation. And the feed will be given by us, not about the video only, rather we will give the feed about the other details also, which we might have captured about the offender also. So expert may help out, number one, about the violation, and expert may also help out about the identity of accused. And once these two things are clear, either when we are having the full or the technology is absolutely clear and it has already happened, absolutely no issue. And then so the evidence are not really very clear, then it can be referred to the expert, and expert can, or even in written way also we can refer it to the expert, and we can create additional evidence from experts. So now, there will be now three evidence. One evidence which is captured by individual, maybe volunteers, or maybe by the CCTV device or IoT device. Second, if it is a person or volunteer, he is eyewitness to the violation. Then third, we are involving expert also. So we will have three kind of evidences. And it is not for the sake of nation. It will be for the sake of very selfish reason, because the people, those who will be doing the job, they will be getting revenue stream. So the volunteer who would be capturing, or the owner of the device, whether it's a CCTV or whether it is a IoT device, he will be getting almost 50% of the compounding fees. And the compounding fees is varying from 2,000 to 25,000. And if the violation is done by the law enforcer, it means by the police, then the quantum of the punishment will be the double. So whatever is the punishment for the normal citizen, for the enforcer, that is the police and other agencies, those who are having the responsibility to enforce that violation, if they commit the same offense, that compounding fees will be thus double. So for a police officer, it will be from 4,000 to 50,000. And if the 50% money is directly coming to the volunteers, or some amount, a small amount is going to expert also, then it will be a very huge money. Imagine a situation when each citizen in a day just capture one violation. In that case, we will be creating for the government money something like 1,30,000 crore. And that too when we are saying that violation is of only 2,000 rupees. If it is of the larger amount, that money will be much, much higher side. And now you have to imagine one situation. Why somebody will only capture one evidence, one violation? Probably a student who is going to his college, he will be capturing few violations at the time of going. When he is returning from his college or from his school, probably he might even capture few violations, and he will be getting enough money that will be much, much more than which is required for his fees or for his expenditure. Probably the dependency of the student on their parents that will, for the supporting their education, it will be no more be there. Rahul, could I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if you agree that there's no problem with the certainty, or when I am asking from you, I'm not really asking the legal dimension, but I would like I am asking for the technological feasibility dimension. So, I being technocrat, do you have any reservation about its doability? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. I'm concerned about the infrastructure required to process all these live video feed from all these CCTV cameras to collect the evidence. Will the government be able to provide such a...
Rahul, your doubt is so much superfluous and it is not really genuine. Because now you see how many video conferences are taking place, how much Facebook is doing the job, how much YouTube is doing the job. So now having that memory, having the power to process it, it is tremendous. When anybody can do it, why we can't do it? Number one. Number two, already a lot of hardware or a lot of infrastructure has already been created with the NetGrid, with the NCRB, with the smart cities, with the cyber command centers, with the smart city command center. Even if we make use of the 10% of that, that will be more than whatever is required. We can even have a kind of arrangement if we are not very sure about it. We can use cloud space of these organizations, and we can have our own agreement, our own licensing condition from this the people those who are providing the cloud services, so that our data should not be at the risk, and rather we can have our own security layer, cyber security layer on the top of their system, so that if they are anywhere they are flouting something, or anybody trying to do something which is not acceptable under that act which we have suggested to the government, that is the National Authority for Scientific and Technical Assistance in Investigation and Detection of Crime, that kind of bill or act we have already proposed to the government. So this act is that is having it is promising privacy to the normal citizen, number one. Number two, it is basically making a very heinous offense to the anybody insider, that is from the authority, or any public man or any technocrat, if he is trying to get into the system, then this offense will be having a minimum penalty of the 7 years. And the backend technology is working to really identify or compile all kind of the evidences. So prosecuting such person will be very, very easy. With that kind of the certainty, I don't think there could be any reason. And everything is so cheap that capability is certainly not is an issue at all, because a lot of expenditure in terms of the infrastructure has already been done. A lot of supporting services, they are already in air. Whatever the concerns we are having, those concerns can be addressed through the legal format or through the agreement format or through the licensing format. But we can certainly have the technology to support it. Processing is not a issue. And at the moment we were talking on the first certainty only, that is the certainty of reporting. And it is highly driven with the technology. It is integrating all citizens. It is integrating experts and it is and it is bringing them the revenue stream also. I will come on the revenue stream little later. So if you agree with this, then we would like to move on to the second certainty. Whenever I am using the word certainty, it should be taken as a very highly enhanced probability. That should be almost close to certainty, because saying certainty would always be an issue. So we can say enhanced probability or significantly enhanced probability. We can use that terminology. So now let's go to the second certainty, the certainty of detection. Now, poor policeman, when he joined job, he was having an image of police at the time of joining. He must not have thought that he has to handle such a difficult and complex crime. He was not very sure that he has to handle money laundering, he has to handle cyber crime, he has to handle white collar crime and all kind of the crimes. Now, there is always a skill deficit, training deficit of a policeman. It is a time when we need to de-burden and de-stress our police. So there will be unburdening of the police and there will be de-stressing of the police, because whatever is not the core responsibility, that will be transferred to citizens, to the volunteers, and the volunteers, while doing that, they will be getting revenue stream also in this support. So it will be a kind of a beneficial arrangement. Now, for ensuring certainty of detection, we have to provide our police officer all kind of support. So person like you, they have created and they are in process of further improving upon investigation support app. And this app is a kind of a automated kind of app in which the police officer need not to really press many buttons, because whatever the input it is getting, it is basically changing its own response. It's an interface with the policeman. So what is exactly is being done? That if say from the say content of FIR from the sections, it will come to know what kind of the crime is to be investigated. So the process or SOP for that very crime, according to that SOP, that app will be providing the support. So it is providing the support for capturing 3D photographs, 2D photograph, infrared supported photography, ultraviolet light supported photography, and later on we intend to move for the drone photography and robotic photography also. So and this will be done through the startup, because what I feel, if this technology or these things are given to the police, they will become part of the storeroom, because they are afraid of that it should not get spoiled, and probably out of the either because of the having the less understanding about the equipment or technology, they will keep it in a safe place and it may not be used. So the system will generate a requisition, and whereby the startup or local startup would be providing their gadgets, and the gadgets would be reaching directly over there and will be doing the job, and their feed will directly move to the cloud space, which will be under custody of National Authority for Scientific and Technical Assistance. So number one, it is providing direct support through or investigation support, making use of the app, which will be changing its processes, which will be changing its interface with the IO, and it will be taking shape as per the requirement of the case. And whatever is being captured, it is going in database, and from database it is receiving instruction and accordingly that app will be again changing its shape. So police officer even need not to be smart enough to press few button here and there in the app. App will be suo moto automatically helping that investigating officer. We are having the tons of the historical data about the criminals. We know where are the criminals residing. We call it a criminal cluster. We know where are they committing crime. We call it a hotspot. So the place where more number of the crimes are being taken place, they are called hotspots, and that adjoining area maybe we may say crime zone. We are having the details about how it is varying over the period of the time, how it is varying during the day and time. So we know at what time specifically crime is being committed, where the crime is being committed, who is committing crime, what is the modus operandi. Now from the system, we can identify who is most likely to commit this crime, and their photographs can be pushed. Imagine a situation without any efforts, the backend technology is identifying the photographs, who could be the most likely person to commit this crime based on the various parameters, and pushing their photographs without any efforts to the app of the police officer, and he can just show it to the complainant or victims or nearby witnesses. And if happened the feed is happened to have the photograph of the criminal, then the person is identified and the crime is resolved. Now let's say imagine a situation that it is not having photograph of that person. Then the same app would allow to create a portrait, and that portrait can be created within very fast, within a minute or even less than that. So, and then that photograph will be so fine, it can be even made to use the database also. So the database will be, inside database will be used for searching culprit, or it can be shown again to the other witnesses. Even it can be published, it can be go into the newspaper, it can go on television. So we can make use of this for identifying criminal. Then lot of evidence will be captured by recreating scene, by capturing what is available on place of incidents. And whatever is being done, the experts would be have that information on the real-time basis. At present, during the investigation, whatever the items, blood samples, urine sample, or other body fluids, or any other things, even pants or broken surfaces. So whatever your firearms or weapon of offense, whatever is being captured, that is seized on the spot, and it is taken to the Thana, and from Thana it is sent to the various laboratories for the testing. And there's a lot of time lag. So we have designed a system whereby there will be a courier system which will be having proof of chain of custody also. So it is automatically creating the chain of custody and pushing that information or that certificate to the court also. So system is generating 3 certificates: certificate of integrity, certificate of admissibility, and certificate of chain of custody. And system is also integrating on the real-time basis with the experts. And experts are being enabled through the app, so they can do their very smart job. Whatever they are supposed to do, technology will help them to do the job on the real-time basis absolutely smartly, and will be helping out to create a report which will be sent almost on the real-time basis. At present, it requires a very elaborate process, and then it takes months together. Sometimes the challan is put up in the court, and still the report from FSL or experts that is awaited. Sometimes that is responsible for delay of deciding a case. Even sometimes it is responsible for filing delayed filing of challan also. Now the technology is helping out in requisitioning also. Rahul, I'm not very sure, but rather I feel that you people must have read all problem statement. So one of the problem statement, it is dealing with the requisitioning of evidences. So police is having the power to requisition evidence under section 91 CRPC. the system would be creating a legally a requisition. System will work on the back end and will identify what kind of information may be requisition from where, and it will help as that is investigating officer to just put a signature, and then monitoring and follow up of getting that information will also be done by the system. At present, whatever is being requisitioned by the police has to work very hard, and sometime or many times that information is not coming to the police. My friend, I would like to say, complying with the requisition of police is a legal mandate. A person who is not complying with the direction, he can be prosecuted for violating order under section 91, read with the section 188 of the CRPC. So the person, if he is not complying, then we would be in position to prosecute him for the violation of 91 under read with the 188 of the CRPC. The system would be helping that investigating officer to conduct the seizure and search under section 93 and 94 of the CRPC. Here, time and again I am trying to repeat about the technology, time and again I am trying to repeat about the law. And what I want to impress upon, that within the four walls of the present law, these things are doable, and with the efforts of even a lot of things that they have been developed in the Smart India Hackathon, and a lot of things they have been developed under the MOU with the 53 universities. So 91 would be very, very effectively used. Then, since a lot of revenue stream is flowing to the people, so at present we are having a number of CCTVs, that is police CCTVs, then smart city CCTVs, then mall CCTV, even many private individuals now they are putting their own CCTV, and the culture of the CCTV is increasing day by day. That is the requirement of the day. Under this scheme also, we intend to promote that the startups should pitch in to establish wherever the CCTVs are required. And even the private citizen, they can also pitch in to establish their IoT devices or CCTV devices. And the return on their, it will be very, very high, because they will be earning, say, 1,000 to 25,000 rupees by capturing evidence. So their investment will be recovered within 3 months to 6 months, and thereafter they will be getting pure profit. So you, me, and everybody will be in the line to get those notes for ourselves. So now imagine a situation when the police officer who is at present, he is fighting, he is under sweating, and he is may not be having right kind of skill set. He is now enabled by all the power available, and he is literally getting, say, something called Brahma Chakshu, as it is opined in Gita. In Mahabharata, when Lord Krishna, he says that you cannot see my Virat Sarup, so you need Brahma Chakshu. So that kind of universal eye, that kind of the eye would be available with the police, and at the same time it is promising a lot of privacy to the citizens and criminals, and raw data will not be available to the police. Now we come to the, so here I will again stop. I would like to look forward for the second certainty of detection. Now, say you whatever we are talking of the technology. I would like to look forward for your reaction about the second certainty. Leela Rani ji, Santha Kumar, and any feedback, any response on this? Because
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So you said the system can analyze someone who's going to do a crime, like in the future, right? Near future, with the data.
We will talk on that. Just a minute. That is the fourth certainty. So please wait for that question. I would like you to limit yourself about this part also when we are talking of the certainty of detection, because with the use of the evidence available on scene of crime, integrating experts, integrating FSL labs and integrating basically IoT devices, CCTVs, and requisitioning power, all put together, we would, and along with that CDRs and things like that, we would be in position to map the whole conduct of the criminals and his associates, and we would be in position to map, while we are investigating one case, probably we may be in position to detect 200 or more cases. That kind of, do you agree that we are talking of certainty of detection? Do you agree that there could be certainty of detection?
Yes, sir, I think to some extent there can be.
Yeah, let me share my experience when I was at DG Railway. Working on the gangs of the railway is very difficult because crime is committed somewhere, reported in some other state. So it is very difficult crime. So we developed some technology which we were doing it manually. And from a gang, we could detect 120 offenses. And they were finding it to really recall all 120 cases. So we used to help them. Hey, you were traveling in this train, you did this. This was the Masruka, and that's how then they came in support and they confessed, and then we could recover the property. At that point of the time, I was doing everything manually. Now I am having the power of AI. Now I am having the power of algorithm. Now I am having the power of everything. Now I am having the power of integrating technology, integrating each and every citizen of the country, and integrating experts and integrating court and judiciary. That kind of unique privilege was not available at that point of the time. So I hope you will agree that to a great extent, we would be in position to attend, or if we can say there's a very high or enhanced probability to detect almost all offenses. If you agree with this, then we will move on to the third certainty.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, so the third certainty is the certainty of conviction. So certainty of the conviction is happening on two counts basically. One count is because we are creating a lot of evidence. Earlier, basically police is legally on a very low footing. Whatever statement is recorded by the police, it cannot be used for the corroboration. It can only be used for the contradiction. Confession made to police officer is not admissible in court of law under Section 25 of Evidence Act. And a small portion can only be admissible under Section 27, which is leading to the discovery of new fact. So, conviction in the present setup, with the present rule, it is very difficult. And especially when attitude that people they do not come forward to depose. They do so. Getting witnesses, independent witnesses, still is a great challenge. And you must have heard that often police has to rely on pocket witness. Now, from that kind of the situation, we are moving to the another very empowered, technologically empowered situation where we are capturing evidences right from the place when he's coming out from his house. So when a criminal is coming out of a criminal cluster, our radar is capturing him. We know which route he is following. We know in which vehicle he is. We know who are the associates are there. We know what kind of the preparation they have done. And the CCTV and IoT devices on road will also be capturing evidences. So the evidence or conduct prior to offense and after the offense, this is also admissible in court of law. At present, police is not having these evidences, but now with this enhanced system or with this technology system, we would be having enough evidences about the conduct prior to offense and after the offense. So now we are not limited to whatever is leading to the new discovery of fact, or what is we could get it from the scene of crime. Rather, we can have a number of other input. So there will be plenty of evidence, and Those all evidence, they are also on the top, they are having 3 certificates. That is the certificate of integrity, certificate of admissibility, and certificate of chain of custody, which are being created on the real-time basis and being logged with the date, time, and location. So even nobody can question those certificates. They cannot be fabricated. So these evidences will become infallible evidence. Now, talking about the evidence, now we are moving out to the court, because third probability, the conviction, is only, or we can say that high or enhanced probability of conviction. If we want to really play little safe, and we do not want to use word certainty, so then we can say enhanced certainty, that word, enhanced probability. That word we can use very safely. Now it is helping out the court for doing the job smartly. So we are not limiting to the police. Now we have moved from the police to the court. Now what we are saying to the court, that hey, at present you are relying on a court martial who is not doing the job efficiently. He is not factoring in about the convenience of witness. He is not even respectful to the witness. So my system would help you out to issue your summons and warrant. So first of all, it will have an interface with the witnesses and will gather if they are having few inconvenience date. So we may not really look for their convenience, but at least we can factor in their inconvenient dates. And if the person gives the logical certificates, logical proof, then we will accept and block those dates, and those dates will not be open to the magistrate for fixing date. So it is something like, what are the dates available for your interview in passport office or something like that, right? So that kind of calendar, blocked calendar, will go to the magistrate, and then magistrate can just indicate which date is convenient to him from the remaining dates. And system will generate summons and warrant, whatever will be the case. And by just putting the digital signature, it will become a legally acceptable summon or warrant. Now the summon and warrants not going to the police. So because we intend to de-stress and de-burden our police, unburden our police. So it is being routed to the volunteers, and we are having almost our whole country and everybody, all citizens, they will be our volunteers. So our volunteers will be in each and every corner, and that warrant or summons or other processes that can be executed almost instantaneously, because we would be knowing where is our volunteer, where it needs to be executed, and it can be almost executed on the real-time basis. So even if summons and warrant, it has been issued in the evening at 5 o'clock, still court can have the pleasure to have the session next day. More so because in first probability we are talking, you need not to go to Thana. Now we are talking, you need not to go to court. So without going to the court trial would be possible. So for that, we are in process of designing a distributed video-based court trial process, which will be much more transparent. It will be compliant with all legal requirement of the day, and at the same time, it will be very, very user-friendly. And especially in Corona-like situation, when we cannot really afford to go to the court and we have to avoid gathering at a place. And as you know that in courts, how many, there are so many people around, and it's a crowded place. So even in Corona-like of situation, since nobody need to go to the court, then doing a more efficient trial would not be a problem. So in this distributed court trial, witness would be going to the witness center, and they will be distributed all across. We have to take a call where we would like to have this witness center, and the witness center will be having 3 protocols. Number 1 protocol will be about the identity of the witness. So whether he is the right witness or not, that identity would be captured and it will be pushed. Now, after the identifying, yes, he is the same person, then he has to undergo the second protocol. The system will try to understand he should not be under any fear, he should not be under any duress. And if the system, as per the protocol, if it finds that person is under fear, then probably it may quarantine, as we are doing in case of corona, because then he is not fit to depose in the court of law. And then third protocol will be about the video-based witness, real witness. That's the third protocol, where the evidence will be pushed to the court. So there will be 5 screens in the judge chamber. One is screen will be about his PA. Then another screen will be about his say prosecutor, then defense lawyer, then witness, and then one screen will be for the documents and related things. Probably we will be in position to identify that defense lawyer when he is not really acting on merit. Sometimes he even commit contempt of court. So there will be digital evidence about his conduct. Sometimes he violates his ethics. That unethical behavior will no more be tolerable for the defense lawyer, because that system will be approaching bar counsel that, hey, your lawyer or defense lawyer, he has violated his ethical code of conduct. It will help out judge, even if say some document, it is a very old document, it is not readable, probably it will make it legible by using n number of the filters. System may be even positioned to help out court if the document is not genuine, and probably it might generate a request that using that forged document in court of law, it is an offense. So it can help out in taking cognizance. So the system will become much more efficient. At the present, court is dependent on either on the defense lawyer or on prosecution to cite cases. I think that should not be our dependency. We can really move, or the system can bring out all relevant judgments before the honorable court and probably help out them to write the judgment also. So after taking what is his judgment, even it can help out the court in creating a judgment. And so even the passing of the judgments could be very fast. That kind of the powerful system with plenty of evidences, with the plenty of certificates, with a lot of infallible evidences, it will be having very enhanced kind of probability, or we can say, I would like to rather saying a strongly enhanced probability, I prefer to say certainty. So there will be certainty of conviction. Now, at this point, do you have any question about it? We talked about the various certificates, we talked about the issuance of the summons and warrant, we talked about its execution, and we talked about the revenue stream which will be coming to the public, and then we talked about the distributed court trial system, which will be making the court trial very convenient, very user friendly, and very transparent, very effective. And probably we would be in position to dispose of many cases. At present, more than 3 crore cases they are pending in courts. So justice delayed is justice denied. Probably this system would be helping out the court to even do the justice fast, and with the certainty. I always like to compare my system with something like my cricket, because in cricket ground, now we are having n number of the cameras from n number of angles. There's a fixed cameras, floating cameras, that ground cameras, all kind of the cameras are there. And now the umpire cannot falter in giving a right judgment. So similarly, we will be helping out court in a very big way, and there will be no place for a magistrate to falter. So he will be doing a true justice, and that too very fast. With this, we come to the third stage of the certainty, that is the certainty of conviction. Here I would like to stop for a while and would like to listen you people. What do you feel about the certainty of conviction? Any response? Because you are technocrats, you know that capability of technology. Do you have any reservation about the technology? My young friend Rahul and others, those who were the part of Smart India Hackathon, they are aware that a lot of things have already been developed. And many more things they have been developed by the various other technology, other universities also. Because as on date, there are almost 53 odd universities they are working with us in this endeavor. So since there is no question, your silence, I treat it as you are having no reservation and you feel that technology is certainly capable of doing this. And we will be already in process and we will be creating this technology. And this technology will be created absolutely free. Just like Google is doing a number of the things free, but at the same time, a lot of revenue will be created, which will be resulting in a lot of basically startups, and a lot of revenue will be flowing to our budding students. It will be a lot of money will be flowing to faculties and even institute also. I will elaborate that part separately. So now let's move on to the fourth certainty. The fourth certainty is hovering around which Mr. Shanmugam Shankar he was trying to say. That is certainty of prediction or enhanced probability of prevention. So when the person is moving out, on the basis of his mannerism, on the basis of his preparation, and on the basis of his expression, on the basis of his cloth, on the basis of his timing, on the basis of his body language, on the basis of associates and vehicle they are using, technology in conjunction would be in position to take a tentative decision that probably he is moving out to commit a crime. It knows that what routes he will be following. So intervening routes nodes would be alerted, and we will get a confirmation about which route he is using. We will get confirmation about the associates also. We will get the other, and then we can decide our smart intervention strategy where to really catch him. And we will catch him at the place of our choosing. And since we will be having a number of other evidences with us, so wherever the preparation is an offense, we can prosecute that person for the substantive offense. Or if we permitted him to really attempt it also and then intervene, then attempting a crime is a substantive offense and we can really prosecute him red-handed. And third, when we do not, or our evidence is not falling in first two category, then we can book him under the preventive section. So what we want to say, that the technology would be enabling us, and technology of our creation would be enabling us to have the certainty of prevention. Mr. Shanmugam Shankar, probably whether he is feeling satisfied with my elaboration. Otherwise, please feel free to ask question at this stage.
Yes, sir. Actually, you told the person who you think will commit the crime, you have the probability that you can catch him. But what I am about to ask is that if the person here, if he knows this technology exists and he went underground and he forces like someone like third party, like he doesn't even have a connection, and he's forcing that guy indirectly, and if he's about to make a crime, will the system be able to detect that?
You are very true. So it means there will be various patterns, and as the new patterns will be coming, technology will be discovering that new pattern, and probably with the new algorithm, there will be always a chase when the new patterns would be emerging, and we will be developing new algorithm and with the new solutions. So capture that.
Yeah.
And probably we can think faster than them, because we are thinking on the probabilities, which has not, even when it may not have been manifested in the real crime, even we can think on those probability either based on experience somewhere else or some other countries, or so, because we need not to really have that experience ourselves.
Yeah.
If anywhere the new modus operandi is seen, system can immediately capture. It need not to be in India. It need not to be, it may be even abroad also. So whenever any crime is committed with any modus operandi, our team should take it as a challenge that how we will handle it. And so probably when it can come to the India, we are already ready with the solutions. We are ready with the algorithm. And as you rightly said, that but when person has gone underground, technology is changing you. It is keeping an eye from all the sides. Though it is not with the police, so it is also ensuring the privacy of the individual. But at the same time, if you are underground, it will identify that you are underground. You have not been seen for so many days. Then you have not committed any crime, then you will be on the high alert. And the moment you will be seen by any node, we will get the alarm you are there. And probably then we will proactively catch you and will interrogate you. What was your design and where were you and how you survived and who protected you, who harbored you. So even we can do that. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because the moment you are underground, it means you will not be captured by any of the camera. You will not be moving out from your criminal cluster or in or out, right?
Yeah.
Now, since it is keeping the watch on your face, it is keeping the watch on your clothes, it's keeping watch on your vehicle, it is keeping watch on everything. So then it knows that it could not watch you. So it is not only the presence, it will capture your absence also. And your absence will be triggered. This man is not visible, he has gone somewhere.
Yeah.
And let's presume that he knows that what are the IoT devices or what are the CCTV devices are around, and he concealed himself and he could successfully dodge them. He will be seen by some node somewhere. If he is not seen by the node of his cluster where he is residing, and he is seen by some other node, that itself is indicated he is having intention to commit crime. Is that right?
Yes.
So by having the various logics, we can draw inferences, and as your algorithm would be learning with the new patterns and new behavior, we would be in position to detect. So certainty of prevention. I think largely you technocrats are agreeing with this philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Now, I am of the very strong view, with the certainty of the reporting, with the certainty of detection, with the certainty of conviction, and even with the certainty of prevention, we cannot create crime-free Bharat. I have no doubt about it. Because if my stomach would be empty, I will commit crime even at the cost of, or even at the risk of going to jail with certainty. Because then going to the jail will assure me the 2 meals. It will assure me a roof. Nowadays it is assuring a number of other things also. It is assuring entertainment, it is assuring yoga, it is assuring a number of things, right? So probably if I am much more uncomfortable outside, I will commit a crime to go inside the jail. So the fifth certainty, that is the certainty of rehabilitation. Since system knows lot many things about you, so why it should allow you to be a criminal? It will go and it will the trained volunteer will go and will have a discussion with you, will identify your skill set, will identify your training needs, will identify your finance need, and you will be suitably rehabilitated. When I talk about rehabilitation, I very often say the people will not like to be rehabilitated. I mean, no, let me not say the people, let me say criminal. Criminal would not like to be rehabilitated for very simple reason. But what kind of the employment you will be giving to them? If they are committing a crime, they may earn a very hefty amount. So do you be providing some rehabilitation which could generate that kind of the money? No way, you cannot provide that kind of thing. So had it been a normal situation and you are approaching your criminal or criminals, they are not likely to be rehabilitated. I was the SP Guna. We are having all kind of the criminal tribes over there, Sansi, Kanja, Pardi, and all kind of the tribes. And government has really rehabilitated them. They have given the piece of land, this, that. But still those people are committing crime. So they are committing crime for very simple reason. They are committing crime for very, very simple reason. And that reason is because they feel that they will be getting more revenue and relatively in less risky environment. So they will commit crime for the sake of getting a rich dividend. But you are having forced certainty. So doing crime will be no more a lucrative business for them. And with that, then they would like to move to the they would like to be they will like to agree for rehabilitation, and then probably the certainty of rehabilitation with the financial support, with the training, and not only the training, we intend to take their guarantee also. So just like insurance, we will say anybody is employing, if there's any shortfall, we take his guarantee as our citizen. That kind of the guarantee will be coming from the state. So there will be certainty of rehabilitation. Now I will pause at this point. How do you react to the certainty of rehabilitation? Sukumar ji, Vidya ji?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with my analysis?
Yes,
Yes, we agree, sir. We are constraints. We have almost considered all the certainties.
Yeah. So this, and if you look at the sum total, we were talking of the crime which are more by for the gains, financial gain. So a question is always asked, what about the reactionary crime? You will agree that majority of us now become volcano and we get triggered by the unrelated things. So if somebody is overtaking my vehicle, we will take out, if I am having a weapon, I may shoot a person, and we very happily say it is a road race. Or some rumor is created and then we go for the mob lynching. Whether that kind of the crime would be controlled or not. So as there will be certainty, we will be no more be a volcano. We will be a more deflated person. We will be more consoled person. We will be more peaceful person. Probably we will be having greater faith and in our system. And with the greater faith, we would not like to take law in our hand. So there will be less of the reactionary crime as well. But even putting together, some crime will always be happening. So I always say, when we say crime-free Bharat, it does not mean zero crime. It means the presence of the crime will not be felt. And there will be a visible sense of security and safety. So we are in journey of creating crime-free Bharat with effective use of technology, effective use of creating creativity in academic institutions, and with the partnership of students, faculties, and everybody, we need to create those modules, and we need to do that. And government is already in a big way now MHRD is supporting incubation centers, is supporting a number of the things, and it really want in true sense that creativity and innovation should become the atmosphere of each and every institution. So I call upon you, let's join hand to have that kind of the creativity, that kind of the innovations. Let's provide some basic facilities to our students. So we can take a place that let's not really ask the students to have a very costly kind of mobile phones or costly laptops. With their thin laptop, they should be in position to make use of the cloud space, cloud computing enabling. So one first request from institute would be, please provide the cloud computing environment so that the student would be having all the tools which are available in cloud computing environment. And now there are very smart tools available. So doing resource, doing innovation, it would be much easier for the students, number one. Second enabling, which I really very sincerely request, that at present they rely on Google search to find out what research has been done. And many things are not available in open source. So the e-library, e-research library, that should be made available to them. Let it come from institution side, because that will enhance the prestige of your institute. So second, let there be e-library. We should have all kind of the research paper, so that because the methodology which we are suggesting, it is a research-based methodology. So we do not allow, we are not creating solution. We are creating solution after due research. We won't permit anything to move unless it is following the strict protocol which has been generated by us. So it means the people has to follow those protocols. So in that protocol, there is a deliberation on the subject point, then there is a brainstorming, then my briefing, then they have to do literal research about what has happened even till yesterday night, and then the concept, they have to do that deliberation on the YouTube channel that will be available. Every world can see what we are discussing. And then concept note will be revised, and then thereafter we will be creating solutions. If it is a hardware, then there will be prototype testing. If it is software, then we will be doing debugging, and we will be testing it. Then version 1, version 2, version 3 will be created. That kind of things will be happening. So doing research, doing literature survey, that is the need of our, we don't permit otherwise. So this kind of the support should be available to our students. So we talked about the cloud computing environment. Now secondly, we talked about e-library support. We should have all kind of the research paper. Then third is incubation center. So there is already policy of the Government of India about the incubation center. I sincerely request you that please have the incubation center, or if you are not having your own, you can locate the nearby incubation center and you can look for the partnership with them, so that without duplication of the facilities, still our student would be having the facility available to them.
Sir, small information.
Yes, please.
Our college is having incubation center.
Oh, great. What about cloud computing supports?
Cloud computing support, actually we are going to have a MOU with the other company to set up a cloud digital lab. Cloud
Okay.
lab.
So now a number of cloud computing companies, they are coming to the academic institution and they are offering this kind of the facilities almost free. So you can explore those way, or if you have to make a token payment, that could be made. That is not a big thing, because now in time to come, a lot of revenue will be coming to you. So my project, though we will be creating everything free, but at the same time there will be inbuilt mechanism to generate revenue, which I will be elaborating very shortly to you people. So that this is the then fourth is one thing we have to realize, as I say we are from the old age, right? And the technology is basically being created at a very phenomenal rate. I don't forget that honor of Samsung. He came on record that we cannot sleep properly, because if we will sleep, we will lag behind. That is the rate that knowledge is really exploding. That's the way that technology is making leaps every day. New technology, new algorithm, new things are emerging, and new solutions, new apps, new things are being created. So we, as a teacher or guide, we cannot remain in our comfort zone. So now this is the fourth request is basically it is to the teachers. And that's why we don't say the teacher guide. Even I don't use the word mentor. I prefer the word team lead. Team lead, I always found a superior terminology, because then we feel the part of the team. My sincere request that teacher become the part of the team and let there be the partner in the brainstorming. They should not be available when the students are having some problem, and if they come and then you are trying to help them. Let's not have that mindset. Let's become the partner in this journey. If we can say it's a spiritual journey, let's enjoy this spiritual journey of the creation and innovation and creativity. So for every 4 students, we put one team lead or mentor, whatever you say, but I will still prefer the team lead word, so that integration of the teacher with the students, that should be absolutely perfect and it should be seamless. And we should own whatever is being done by the students, and we should take credit whatever is our product. And I wish that our product should be very high. Say, I think more than a month before, Mr. Abhay Jere, who is a Chief Innovating Officer of the MHRD, we were in one, certificate distribution ceremony of my internship, basically. And he said that America is Chinese, they are filing some 13.5 lakhs patents in India. America is also filing some 3.5 lakhs patents in India. All Indian put together, they have filed only 65,000 applications. And not 65, 47,000 applications. And out of that, 65% or more than 65% that is of the NRI. So hardly 4,000 or 5,000 applications for the patents that has been filed by the Indians, those who are residing in India. I think it is not a very happy situation. So let's take a pledge that we will be working very hard. We will be working hard to greater extent, so that we can have more number of the patents, more number of the intellectual property right. We will not sleep till we make it happen. That is the next expectation from you. And then finally, the various initiatives, they have to be various modules, they have to be integrated, so that they can be converted into various startups. And since we are working on 11 Bharat, not only crime-free Bharat, and many Bharat, they are having inbuilt creation of the startup. So we would like to slowly take you from the crime-free Bharat to the Atmanirbhar and Samarth Bharat, job and services rich Bharat, innovative and creative Bharat, green, herbal, medicine-free, healthy Bharat. So those kind of the Bharatas, we will be in the journey together. And whereby there will be ample space for creation of the startups. Even this crime-free Bharat is offering 5 streams to every citizen. Number 1 stream, that is coming by violation of the traffic. At the beginning, we are saying traffic. Slowly, we will make other offenses also compoundable. And because the whatever the crime is being done for financial benefit, that all those offenses should be made compoundable with a heavy fine. And with the certainty of the reporting, certainty of detection, and certainty of conviction, we will be reaping a lot of benefit and flow of the finances from the people, those who are committing the crime, to the common public. So there will be transfer of revenue stream from the people, those who are doing crime, and from or violating some rule, to the people, those who are capturing it. So very heavy capturing would be possible, and whatever the route we have discovered for FIR, that route will be used for evidence also. So evidence will be it is not uploaded, it is captured. So even if there's a technology available to do some kind of manipulation, something like a fake, deep fake, that those technology will not be having any option to do. It will be encrypted on a real-time basis. It will be taken to the competent authority. The moment he puts the signature, it will become challan, and then the challan, the violation is having from 2,000 to 25,000 kind of fine. So 50% money will be coming to the convert normal person, maybe the volunteer, maybe the CCTV owners, or maybe IoT device owner. That kind of the money will be coming. And as I was explaining, if let's hypothetically presume that each and every one of us presses even one button, that will be creating, even with the smallest amount of the fine, it will be creating a revenue of 1,30,000 crore. And that is the revenue we are talking for the government. Similar revenue will be coming for the public also. So total revenue generation with the one click will be 2,60,000 crore. That kind of the money. And then when that kind of the money is flowing by, you will stop with the one button. You will try to push 100. So that kind of the revenue would be created, and this is only one revenue stream. And out of this, some revenue would be out of the 50%, say 10% will go, which will be flowing back to the people, those who have contributed to it. So there will be revenue for students, there will be revenue for faculty, and there will be revenue for institute also. So that kind of partnership. So, and it is on the model of which we are having in USA, and there also the faculty, they participate in patterns, they participate in everything, and then the revenue streams come to that. So if they can do in America, why we can't do it in India? So I very strongly believe that though it will be free to the nation, but since a lot of revenue will be created, and that will be mind-boggling money, which will be flowing back to the student, to the faculty, to the institutes. And that I wish must happen. And I have created a law for this purpose. So I wish that law should be enacted by our parliament. Now, earlier I was focusing on the government of India alone. Now we have started focusing on state also. So we are approaching now individual states. We are approaching our Madhya Pradesh government. Now we are going to Gujarat, UP, Bihar, or we intend to go to the Kerala. DG Kerala spoke to me, so I intend to submit a formal proposal to Kerala DG also. And we wish that even if there's a delay in creation of the system at the central level, we can have the pilot project in the states. And once we can create successful pilots, then probably we will be having greater acceptability in the center as well. Now I will explain a little bit about how we would like to go about. So we had already suggested that one Google form should be floated, whereby the student can opt and they can give their preference, or they can give their biodata, what they have done, what kind of the project they have done, and now where they would like to hone their skill set, where they would like to work. So based on their preference, they will be grouped in a group of 4, and one student, teacher team lead would be allotted, or mentor would be allotted to them. And based on their preference, we will try to allot them the module as per our overall vision, so that wherever we are feeling that we need more resources or we need more modules to work on, then we will be allotting project keeping that in mind. So after this compilation, you are supposed to group them in a group of 4, allot them a team lead, then it will come to me, I will give them the subject, then there will be a briefing by me on the subject, then based on my briefing, they are supposed to create one concept note. On the basis of the concept note, they will then go for a literature survey, and that literature survey will be presented, and the concept note will be then refined in the light of the literature survey. Thereafter, there will be process flow diagram. Then if it is a software, then they have to write a program, they have to write the algorithm, and they have to integrate and create solutions in the form of versions, and we will try to make it more realistic, more complex as we will grow. So in beginning, we will try to keep it little simple, and then we will, as we will proceed and with our learning, we will take it to the higher level. So there will be change of the better. So student basically it will be kind of a continuous working for the higher versions, and institute and faculty should be ready to work on the module for the further refinement, because then only that revenue stream could be they could be output, and the individual who contributed, they can be identified, and on the basis of that, revenue stream can flow to them. Because if there will be a lot of change of the people, then who contributed, it will be very difficult to decide. So that is very, very important. And now I would like that if there are any doubts, basically I wanted that it would have been good, because Rahul has done really good job for capturing this violation of the traffic, because basically it was for the vehicle recognition. So vehicle recognition, then n number of the violation recognition, and so that work could have been projected to the rest of the student, and probably the rest of the student, they would also have got a little excited with this work, and probably that would have opened up kind of the creativity we were looking for. So I leave it up to you, because I think we have already exceeded 10 minutes of our schedule. But still, I would like to entertain few questions if they are there, so that if there are any doubts, we can do that. And I would like to formally announce here, because I have been expected to announce that we have both the Sri Venkateswar College of Engineering and Maithili Saran Gupta, this Crime Free Bharat Society. We now decided that we will enter into a formal MOU, and this formal MOU would become the basis, a sound basis for our understanding and for taking this project ahead. I would like to now stop at this stage, and would like to request if there are any questions, then they can be read out to me, and I will try to answer those questions. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you, Gupta, sir. Thank you so much for your announcement, and also thank you for the opportunity given to us. So as you told, we will form a team along with the mentor, and then we'll let you know what are all the things the teams are focusing, and what are the things yet to be focused, and everything after discussion we'll come to the conclusion, and I will let you know, sir, very soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to us once again. So students, if you have any doubt, you please discuss with us, sir.
Okay. So is there any question which is pending and which you want that I should answer, or probably things are very clear and we allowed enough opportunity in between to ask question?
Sir, actually, I have one more question, sir. Actually, our college is a center for national cyber safety and security standard. So in what are all the way our MOE can be related or can be extracted this NCCS body, sir? So in what way we can utilize this NCCS body?
That will be a very great support system, and please share the details with me, then probably we can discuss and deliberate how well we can really make use of it. But basically at the outset, I would like to see that we are in journey of creating our solution. It is our country. We are having our own values. We are having our own culture. We have to devise our own solutions. We cannot be dependent on the models which have been generated out of the country. We have to create our own models. And if there are gaps, it is our job to really fill them. We should be confident of creating our solution. Since we are the creator of the solution, hence there is absolutely no issue in modifying whatever has been created by us. So if we get any meaningful input, we will take no opportunity, because we are not here to defend ourselves. What we need to say that we will never be creating excellent solution, because the moment whatever we will be achieving.
Definitely, sir. We will discuss with you regarding this also, sir.
Yeah, let me clarify on this point. Say we will never be achieving the excellent solution, because our own expectation or our own standard of the excellence will be moving upward, right? So we will be always in the journey of excellence, and we will be creating that excellence by having the revised versions. So version 1, version 2, version 3. And we can have one more session with to elaborate on the points, or we can handle the question answer session, or based on that you can write the questions, and meanwhile you can make out those teams. So I would be very keen to really allot a problem statement to you, and I will be all the time available for making this to happen. I am determined. This is the only way. There is no other way to really make our country crime free. And when we are talking of the crime free, there will be a lot of revenue will be flowing. So we will be making our country almost a Sone ki Chidiya, or a golden bird again, because the people do say that the India was a golden bird. It was having so much of the wealth. Now that wealth has been depleted, it has been taken away by the various perpetrators, and they have taken the wealth from India. Now let's recreate that wealth. Let's each and every individual, each and every citizen of the country should be wealthy. So we will not be only the virtuous, we will not be only the best. We will be having kind of a sentiment. We will even not try to limit ourselves within the country. We will say we are of the people who talk about the Vasundhara Kutumbam. So we treat the globe is ours, whole earth is ours. So we that NGO which we have created, we have given the name Atmanirbhar Samarth Crime Free Vasundhara. So we are not limiting ourselves to even to country. We say if that anybody else can be benefited beyond the national boundary, let everybody should join hand. The world is very intricately connected. If something negative is happening in another part of the world, we will be also negatively impacted. Thank you.
Students, if you have any doubt, you can clarify your doubt with the help of sir. You can, ma. Sugma, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
From our NCCS perspective, if you have any doubt, you can clarify with the sir.
There was some question about implementation of technology. I couldn't read it fully. So if you flash it again, I can answer that question. There was
a question was asked by Ms. Leela Rani ma'am. So she asked, how is it possible to implement technology-based solutions in rural India where like CCTV cameras and other devices might not be available with proper internet connection, those things?
Basically, throughout the country, the same kind of services should have been available. And when we allot these to the different different service providers, they have to place that the same kind of the connectivity they will be providing everywhere. But because of the business reason, they don't do that, right? So there's one fund which is called the Universal Service Obligation Fund. So in lieu of the deficiency of the service, they submit a lot of huge amount of the money under a Universal Service Obligation Fund. A lot of money is piling over there. That money is being used to extend connectivity in the rural areas also. And we can use a number of the technology also. Optical fiber is also moving. So we are going in an ecosystem when slowly we will be at par in the rural area also. So this rural-urban divide, especially for the technological reason, I think it is a matter of few years, maybe 2 years or three, at the most 3 years. By then, probably the optical fiber would be everywhere, and probably in the centers we are talking of, where we will be taking say witnesses. On that center, certainly we will be having optical fiber connectivity, so that connectivity should not be an issue. I am of the strong view that this we should do very fast. By doing so, then we can come out with the things that in future, that electioneering should not be done on the ground. There should be no electioneering related expenditure. We can have the multiple channel. There could be village channel, there could be area channel, this channel, that channel, and everybody can do the electioneering through the electronic media only. There will be weatherproof TVs everywhere, so the people can see the news. And I think we are already having very deep penetration. I think that kind of issue is certainly not there. And now with the digital TV and with the digital technology, I think that device has already been taken care of to the great extent. And if we think of the integrating the various devices, probably this divide can be taken care of a little more smartly.
Okay, sir.
So with this, I would like to convey thanks to Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering for inviting me and giving the opportunity to work with the young brains. I am highly appreciative of the team, your team. You have done a wonderful job in the Smart India Hackathon, and probably that is going to be one of the backbone of one of the revenue stream. So that revenue stream we are talking of, probably that revenue stream will be coming from what work has been done by the Rahul, and probably we have to really improve on that, so that more and more violations should be a reality.
Yes, sir.
And Rahul, I would like to have a presentation how to take your project and how to enlarge your project. So, because your project itself should be divided into the 3-4 projects, so that we can work fast and we can create a solution. Because this will be become a hub for capturing of traffic violation, and capturing of the traffic violation. And it has to be further enhanced with the, say, locking with the date time and using, say, hash values protection and using blockchain technology. So, so far you have used the pure technology. Now it has to be now protected so that it cannot be intruded, it cannot be manipulated, and the evidence should become almost infallible in court of law. So your project now has to travel 2 dimensions. Number 1, enlarging it. Number 2, having
Security
and credibility proof, so that even the nasty technology, they should not have any opportunity to play any manipulation. So defense lawyers should not be in position to take advantage and dispute the credibility of our evidence. That should not be just doable. That should not be doable at all.
Okay, sir.
So once again, thank you very much. And if anyone from you want to propose a formal bit of things, with that we can do this.
Okay, sir. Sir, tomorrow I will talk with our principal, and formally we can sign, sir. I will inform you the date and the time, sir.
Great.
Tomorrow I will talk with our principal and I will convey everything, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure, and I'm really very happy to have this interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Vote of thanks by Kirtana will be done now. So, Kirtana?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Rahul. A very warm evening for everyone present here. I would like to extend my gratitude this evening through a word of thanks on behalf of CSI, SVC Students Chapter, and Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. First and foremost, I would like to thank our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Maithili Sharan Gupta, Director General of Police Reforms, Madhya Pradesh, for spending his valuable time and imparting knowledge on crime-free Bharat. It was indeed a thought-provoking session, sir. Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot. I would like to extend my humble gratitude to Dr. V. Vidya, CSI Student Branch Counselor and Head of Department IT, for supporting and guiding us. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to Dr. T. Sukumar, Assistant Head of Department IT, for his support. Thank you, sir. A humble thanks to our faculties, Mr. Ranjit, Assistant Professor IT, Mr. Guru Gokul, IT, Ms. Leela Rani, IT, for extending their support and coordination for this event. A special mention to Team Tesseract for their efforts. And last but not least, I extend my gratitude to all the participants of this event for your support and response. It has indeed made this event a success. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.